Welcome to Penny for Your Thoughts. Do you want to explain why the name is awesome?
Well, it's a financial podcast, so the money thing works. And also our long time and unfortunately now deceased dog was David Penny.
So this is an homage to her. All right. So this is the show where you ask us your money questions and we give you our advice. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Hit me with the first question.
All right, here comes the first question. I have $33,000 in savings.
Good job.
Should I pay off my entire car loan of $16,900 today?
Yes.
A little bit of context. Female, 25 years old, makes $67,000 a year. Good job. Car loan is $350, $300 a month. Get rid of it now. Car loan, $350 per month. Rent is $1,600 per month. Probably spend $500 a month on groceries, gas, entertainment, no other debt. I don't think we need to go into the rest of the story because it doesn't really matter. I have $16,900 left on my car loan at 5.49%, paying $350 a month with 61 months left. I have $20,500
slash $33,000 in my high yield saving. Does that mean you have both? Or between that amount? Unclear.
Anyways, and don't know, but I make about $65 a month from it. I have a Roth IRA that's maxed out. I will start on my company's 401k next week and it matches 3%. Should I pay off the remaining $16,900 towards my car loan today? Payoff quote amount starts in 12 days, which will add an extra $78 a month on top of $350 per month.
It was a 2023 RAV4. Excellent choice. We are also RAV4 owners, so
140,000 miles going strong.
Top notch. All right.
I will have 8 months worth of emergency fund if I do pay it off. I wish I made more, but I'm not getting a raise until December. We're doing fine.
All right, so we got it. So should you pay off the loan? Yeah. If you pay it off, you'll still have more than half, less than half.
Less than half.
Of your savings, which apparently you can live on for 8 months, which kudos to you. So I don't understand why we're humming and hawing over this.
I tend to agree. So when I was 26, I was in a similar boat.
Okay.
I was making a little bit more, and my loan was not $17,000.
You had a car loan on that Jetta?
A very small one.
Oh my God, that car!
This was back when interest rates were like 0, right? We're talking about it was like 2%.
Y'all, this car was awful.
The quality of the quality of the car is not what we are talking about here. But if I were to describe it, it would be a lemon, and not in the way that Volkswagen got everyone's attention with their ad in the 1960s calling their car a lemon.
Yeah, don't buy a Volkswagen. Just FYI.
This show's going to be sued after one episode. Which would be impressive if Volkswagen got a hold of this and be like, you know what, we're taking you to court for your horrible opinion. The car stunk, but I don't think I paid it all off immediately. I think I paid it off in 2 or 3 chunks.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. So over a period of 3 months. So that I wasn't just taking...
But did you have 8 months of expense worth of emergency fund if you had paid it all at once?
If I had paid it all at once, I probably would not have had 8 months worth of emergency fund in my savings at the time.
Yeah, so not only should you pay it all off, but you should probably only keep 6 months of emergency and then invest the rest. Or save it towards the down payment, or do something else with it.
Yeah, I just don't.
8 months is a lot.
I just don't see how not paying it off wouldn't, I just don't see the reason for not paying it off, especially with the interest rate at 5.5%. Like if the interest rate was 3%, maybe you want to go slower and try to save more to take advantage of the return that you can get in even just a high yield savings account, or really any sort of brokerage account you may want to open, or you.
But you're losing money because the highest high yield saving today is like 5.5, maybe.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. At 5.5%, it doesn't really make sense to hold this around anymore.
Okay.
So I would say
we got it. All
let's
right,
get rid of it.
We're gonna move on.
Thank you for cutting me off.
You're welcome.
I was trying to add a little body to this.
We have other questions. Don't worry.
We have other questions.
All right, the next one. 24-year-old male has gathered $70,000 worth of student loan debt, yikes, and currently makes $30,000 a year. He has $10,000 saved up, but he's trying to find a better way to pay off his debt. I live on rent. He has his rent, I guess, and cut down on groceries. He's been studying for a while. He's thinking of quitting to focus on his debt and not work, and because it's not working out. So is he still studying? He's like still racking up this debt? Oh no. I feel like once you're in the boat, like at least get the degree. Don't like jump ship after you've already sunk $70K into it.
So what are you doing that's only getting you $30,000 a year? I think that's my first question.
I mean, he's 24. At 22, I was making $35K. Granted, that was a long time ago.
A while ago.
Not that long ago. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yeah, but it wasn't. The point being is that salaries have gone up a lot in the past however many years it's been since you've been out of college, milady. Anyways, putting aside that, I think you've got to start making more money. You just got to start making more money.
You either got to get a higher base or you got to go string together a bunch of jobs.
Correct.
But you just got to go at it and attack it.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like you're drowning at 30K, for sure.
Yeah. You're 24.
What do you have?
You don't have kids, right? You don't have kids. You don't have a wife. What are you doing with your time? Just go work. Like, I understand being a student and working while you're a student is great, but it's clear that you're not working and also trying to fund your education through work in other means. You're taking out loans and also just making barely enough to get by in life as it is. I don't know what the cost of living where this person is, but I can guarantee you the cost of living is not going to go down anytime soon wherever you live. And $30,000 is just not going.
Yeah. Also, what you're doing for a living, is that using what you studied for? Because you spent a lot of money to study something.
Yeah.
It should make you more than 30K.
What's your degree in? Basket weaving?
Puppetry.
Protest puppetry? Flag burning? Come on.
Yeah.
School's useless. Go get a trade. Go get a trade. That's what look, if the school thing isn't working out, honestly, go get a trade, go be an apprentice somewhere. A lot of those programs, you will end up over 4 years making a lot more money than toiling away at some entry-level corporate job that you hate with a degree that you clearly are on the fence about getting to begin with. So go out there. What do you like to do? What do you like to do? You like working with your hands? You like working outdoors? Think outside the box.
Yeah.
Do what makes you happy. Because let me tell you, making $30,000 a year, not going to make you happy. Not when you have $70,000 worth of debt.
No. All right. Next question. I paid almost $10,000 ahead on my mortgage. I've been making double and sometimes triple payments. I've been a homeowner for 2 years. I have $25,000 to go until it's paid off. I would like it paid off ASAP. Today I saw that I can essentially cut my mortgage in half and only pay around $350 instead of my typical $700 a month rate using money I already put towards my mortgage. Is this a good idea? Is there any catch? My rate is locked at 4.6%. Yeah, so if you want to get it paid off ASAP, don't do that. Because all it does is shift it around and make your payment lower, but still it's going to take you as long as the loan term to pay it off.
This is an easy one. This takes 5 seconds. To
Also,
answer. Just finish it off.
Who only has $25,000 left to go, and they've only been there for 2 years? This must have been like a really small mortgage. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done. Just knock it out.
Or it's a studio in the middle of nowhere.
Just get
I don't
it
know.
done. Just get it done.
Yeah.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Get her done. Finish the swing. What other metaphors can we use? All right. Next. I'm a single 31-year-old male living with parents in a very high cost of living area. I've lived with my parents since I graduated college. Since you graduated college?
I
What?
hope you graduated college 2 years ago, but
You've been living with your parents for 9 years.
let's
plus
not assume
the
22. Let's not assume 22.
Plus the previous 18 years. I would die. Okay.
But it's been a long enough time. Continue.
Okay. I told myself I would move out when COVID was over, but now I work a fully remote job, so I feel like moving out doesn't really make sense financially. To be honest, I can definitely afford to move out now that I am on my feet. I have a stable job with a greater than $200,000 salary, an emergency fund, and some 401k savings. I've always
Have a lot of 401k savings.
Yeah. I've always been told that renting is throwing money away. Some people say otherwise, that you're paying for a place to live. However, I do have a place to live. I do get freedom living with parents, but to be honest, it's never 100% independence.
Duh.
There is some aspect about living with parents that makes it hard to be fully independent.
No way.
You think? I have recently been going through some anxiety and depression. I find that it's because I feel lacking in other aspects of life, finding a partner, etc., which I blame on still living with parents.
We can stop this right here. One, move out. It's time to cut the umbilical cord. All right?
Yes.
I don't even know. I honestly don't even know where to begin with this. I've been going through some anxiety and depression. I feel it's because I find that it's because I feel lacking in other aspects of my life, finding a partner, etc. Okay. Your salary is great.
Fantastic. Like 3 times the median?
4.
Yeah.
4 times the median household income in the United States. So while maybe you live in San Francisco or New York or Los Angeles or Boston or Chicago, okay, there's 5 places where a high cost of living, $200,000 isn't exactly what it used to be in those areas, but nevertheless, you make more than enough money wherever you live in this country to live on your own, number 1. Number 2, and to be perfectly blunt, making that kind of money affords you to go out there and make yourself a little bit more attractive to partners, whether that's getting a gym membership, whether that's getting some snazzier clothes, whether that's spending some money to go out there and meet some people. You have disposable income at your fingertips that a lot of other people don't have, that you can use to show that not only do you have your life together, but that you can provide for your family, which is one of the jobs of a father and as a dad, that that your number 1 job is to be there for your family and to support that family. Not necessarily be the sole breadwinner, financial support, and all that, but you have an obligation as a partner to be stable and have your stuff together and to not be a burden on the other people in your life. It is very hard to prove that to a woman when they go, where do you live? Oh, I live at home with my mom and my dad.
Do you want to meet them on the first date?
That's the biggest, yeah, my mom dropped me off. She's actually picking me up in 30 minutes, and she asked me, waiter, hey, Can we get a tiramisu to go? My mom loves the
requested that.
tiramisu here,
Yeah.
and she wants it because she's picking me up in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Because it's bath time. I gotta go home. Okay? There's no way you're going to be able to prove those more primal aspects of attracting a partner, which exist, whether you want to believe them or not, in the year of our Lord 2024. They do. Women don't want to be with a loser who lives at home with mommy and daddy. They want to be with a self-sufficient guy who knows how to do his own laundry, clean his own dishes, go to work, and not be a burden on society. All right? That's what women want. Okay? Do you know how to bathe yourself? You know personal hygiene? You know how to shave? You know how to get your hair cut? You know how to brush your teeth? Okay? All of these basic things you need to have covered, along with living on your own, and you've got a great job. So, listen, once you go live on your own and start getting all this stuff, believe me, finding a partner will probably not be that difficult for you out there. You're probably a catch, a lot more than you realize, but you're never going to find that out when on Saturday morning you're sitting down eating a bowl of cereal, watching cartoons while mommy's fixing you up lunch for the next. They're fixing you up a sandwich for lunch. Okay? That's just not going to happen. No woman is ever going to want to be part of that situation. That's insane.
No. Move out. Today.
Move out. Today.
Okay. Next question. I'm in a great spot. What can I do to retire earlier? 28-year-old male, married with exactly zero debt outside of my mortgage. I paid off student loans years ago and have never let a credit card payment go for a single month. I own my own vehicle outright. All the same applies to my wife. I inherited a significant amount of money from my late father. Most of it, $700,000 roughly, is in a stock portfolio with ML. What's ML? Was he meaning mutual funds? MF? Anyway, $600,000 in standard risk and $100K in a more aggressive account. Another $100K in savings from me and my wife in a high yield savings account. Both me and my wife make around $100K a year at steady 9 to 5s. We each max out our 401Ks, so our take home is considerably less, but we thought it'd be wise to play the long game. So that's my picture. I know we're in a very, very good spot. My question is how to retire as early as possible. How can we make our net worth work for itself as best as possible? I don't want to stop working, but I do want to stop working a 9 to 5 desk job.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack here.
A lot to unpack here.
I feel like the biggest thing to figure out is your goal.
Correct. Work backwards.
Yeah, work backwards.
Work
Because you're
backwards.
28, you said you do want to work, you just don't like your job. So it seems like even now is as good of a time as any to figure out what you really want to do. And you
Correct.
could like take the time to do that because you have money and you're capable of living on less than you make. So
100%.
what you're really looking for is just a cushion to go figure it out. Ta-da! You have the cushion.
Yeah, I think.
But otherwise,
So one thing is they do have a mortgage, right? They do have a mortgage, so they do need some income
well,
coming in.
he
to
says
cover.
he does want to work. So
Yes.
So beyond that, figure out like what you really want to do and what you need to do to get there. If that's more education, if that's starting a different career, just a different job, like whatever it is. And then you need to figure out like what are you okay with living on? Because I think there's a certain point at which you can pull, isn't it like 4% out and live on that and not have the like principal affected?
This is what I would say. I would say pretend like that 700,000 doesn't exist. Not don't keep an eye on it. Obviously keep an eye on it. But if you are getting, let's just say a 8% return, it's going to double.
It's going to double in 7 years.
I think it's going to double a little bit longer time than with an 8% return. I think a 10% return will double in 7 years.
Okay.
But anyways, you're looking at probably less than 10 years that the thing's going to double. You're 28 years old. So let's just do some real quick math. By the time you're 38, you'll have $1.4 million in that account. By the time you are 48, you'll have $2.8 million in that account. And by the time you are 58, before you can start taking before you're even eligible to do early Social Security or anything like that, and that's even before you're eligible to start taking from an IRA or any sort of that kind of account. By the time you'll be 58 years old, you will have $5.6 million in that account.
If you do nothing else too.
If you make sure that it's invested in a reasonable grouping of mutual funds that have a track record of a solid, let's just call it 9 to 10% return. Okay. 58 years old, $5.6 million. Not talking about adding in the 401ks, not talking about any value of your house, not talking about whatever happens with that high yield savings account. Maybe you end up putting that into some of it into a brokerage account and start adding on to that once you pay off your mortgage. You're going, so work backwards from that. You're looking at a situation where literally at worst, when you turn 58, you and your wife get to look at each other and go, okay, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? Within reason. I'm not saying you have to go out and buy a yacht like Jeff Bezos, but you're starting from a really good. You're going to be starting from a position that very, very, very few people will be at the age of 58, which is that as long as you don't touch this, you're going to have at least $5.5 million in the bank.
Yeah. So then it becomes like, if you want to retire even earlier than that, how much can you live on, and are you okay with living on that amount for the rest of the time? Because you'll be not working anymore.
Correct.
So that's the point at which you want to figure it out.
Go figure out what you want to do. Is it a part-time job? What we talked about before. Do you want to go? Do you have some sort of a passion that you know doesn't pay? Have you always wanted to be a clown? If you always wanted to be a professional clown and go do kids' birthday parties and other things that clowns do, and you want to go do that, go be a clown. I'm not saying that clown, you might end up making more money. If you have a real passion for it, you carve out a little niche in a community, and all of a sudden you're making as much money as you were before being a clown. Spraying seltzer in people's faces.
Yeah.
That's great. You might end up pursuing a career that initially pays less, but will in the long run pay more, because every single day you are going to get up and not feel like working, and not feel like you're going to work. You feel like you are living the life that you were meant to be living. And when you're doing that, you are naturally going to put in more effort, you're going to care a little bit more, you're going to put in those extra hours, because it's not going to feel like you're putting in extra hours. Yeah. It feels like you're doing what you were put on this earth to be doing. So what I would say is just, every month, check that account, make sure it's well diversified, don't trade with it, don't do options, don't do any of the stupid stuff that you're going to see on social media. Just let it grow naturally. And then work with your wife, communicate. Seems like you guys are in a great spot relationship-wise. Figure it out. Go, hey, honey, you know what? I'm tired of this corporate gig. This is the money we got set aside. We've got our emergency fund. You're making good money. I'm going to go off and I'm going to do dog birthday parties this week. No, don't buy a restaurant. I think everyone knows that. Don't buy a restaurant.
Do you want to, what was it? Dog birthday parties?
Dog birthday parties.
You want to be a clown at the dog birthday parties?
You could do a clown. You could be a clown and do dog birthday parties.
There we go. We solved your problem. That's your new job. Ta-da!
There you go. No, you're in a great position, but just work backwards.
Yeah.
But seriously, I think the biggest piece of advice would be like, just don't touch that money. Just don't touch it. Just forget that it's there.
Yep. All right. Last question. I have $13,000 within 3 credit cards of debt, and I want to pay it off with a personal loan of $13,000 at a 17% interest rate. Is that worth it? My current credit cards are maxed out and I have an APR rate of 28%. Yikes. No, don't do that. Because you're just trying to do band-aids instead of doing the hard work. You need to figure out how to live below what you make. Live below your means.
So I'm going to push back on that and say, well, yes, I agree. You're basically just you are shifting debt around 100%. That's really all you're doing.
I don't think it's worth it at
If you
such
can
a
pay
high interest
less-
rate.
Yeah, but the rate right now is 28%, which is insane.
Yeah, but if she went balls to the wall and just like paid them off aggressively, would it really matter?
Well, we have no idea what this person's income is. We need more information. Like if you're making like $15 an hour, I would say you need to do two things. One would be get a second job if you can, and number two, yeah, I mean, I don't think that's necessarily the worst option in the world. I agree the psychology behind it isn't great. With it,
It's like saying
unless
it's
there
like
is
saying-
more to the plan. Unless there is more to the plan. Unless this is the true come to Jesus moment. I never want to be in this situation again. I'm budgeting. I'm doing, zero-based budgeting. I am going to solve this problem. I am going to reform how I live my life and I treat my money. And I know where every single cent goes every single month. And I see this personal loan option as a way to help me not take as big of a hit as I otherwise would be taking. Then, yes, fine. Commit to that. Commit to that lifestyle.
But you gotta commit to it. You either gotta commit to paying these off ASAP or commit to paying 17% off ASAP. It can't just be like, well, now I have 11% extras. I'm gonna spend that.
Because I know what you're saying. It's the same reason. It's the same mentality that gets people into credit card debt in the first place, which is
like, oh, I maxed this out. I'm gonna move it over to this car with 0% intro until 9 months, whatever, and then you don't pay it. And
Or you know what, I really need this thing right now, or I deserve this. I'm willing to pay a little bit of extra in interest so that I can, I don't know, feel better, get that, get an emotional win, I think is a lot of it. And then all of a sudden, life happens. Right? That's the thing about thing about overspending every month. That's the thing about going into debt. Life doesn't just stop when you go into debt. There are going to be other things that can happen that put you into debt.
I think what bothers me about this question is like all of a sudden they care about the math. It's like you didn't care about the math when you were spending money you didn't have at 28%.
Well, we don't know how this person got into credit card debt in the first place. It could have been, it could be something went wrong with their house where they're living. It could be a car issue, which there are a bunch of ways that someone. So without the full context, it's hard to. I don't want to be too judgmental of why this person got into debt. They're in debt. They're in credit card debt, and their rate is 28%. All right, that should be enough of a reason for them to be looking to fix their current situation and find ways to prevent it from happening again. And one of those big ways is going to be building up a nice reservoir of savings.
Yeah. So I guess you're okay with it. I'm not okay with it. So we'll agree to disagree.
I'm right.
He always thinks he's right. All right. That's it for us.
There are very few times where I get to be right, okay? I'm a husband. I'm a dad. I'm always wrong. Okay?
Not true. All right. We'll see you next time, y'all.